Hello there. What's going on, everybody? I'm going to give this a little bit. I'm trying to be able to respond to chat a little bit easier, and I'm going to try and do a couple of multitasking things tonight. So yeah, I hope you guys are had a good week. Basically, I got a couple of places I'm going to share this real quick, and then after that, well, shoot, I guess after that, that's going to do it. Why isn't that working? Is it not showing up? Let's go here instead. Should be able to watch my stream on a... No, I guess I'm streaming from my phone as opposed to from a PC this time. I'm trying to see if I can watch the stream on the PC, and of course, it doesn't want to work that way. But, you know, it's all right. What about this? What if we go like that? So yeah, I'm gonna give it a few minutes before we actually, start chatting and getting into everything. Oh, there it goes. So I can watch it as as though I'm like a customer or something. There, I guess that does work. Hello there, everybody. Okay, I think it's working. All right, yeah, there it works. Okay. Well, very good, very good. So, hope you guys had a good week so far. As the world is beginning to reopen, and that's kind of the theme of a little bit tonight. The world is beginning to reopen, and I think we all kind of have. I certainly have mixed emotions on that, but if I'm being an optimist, I'm going to remain hopeful and hope that it's not all in vain, and hope that that things go well. I don't expect them to go that well, but I hope they go better than I expect. And with the opening of the world resumes shipping. You may have saw one of my recent videos about some shipping notices, some things, some street dates, and not other street dates. And I thought Legion was being delayed again. And I know a couple of you guys got some shipping notices. So we're going to talk about all the games right now. We're going to talk about a couple of things. First thing, let's talk about Legion, since I mentioned Legion already. Legion is shipping, at least those 4 expansions. So that much is good. That's very good news. Legion is shipping right now. So I actually had a couple of you reach out to me and be like, "Hey man, I got my shipping notice." And I'm like, "Yeah, so did I." It's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. And I definitely appreciate having the shipping notice. It's not a full shipping notice. It's like the pre-shipping notice. Like, hey, this pre-order is in progress. So that much is cool. Now the other thing is we've got what do we got? I need to share this thing. Here we go. There we go. But yeah, we let's see. So we got Legion shipping notices. We got X-Wing shipping notices as well. I still have to make another video, kind of talking about X-Wing with pertaining to the two. There's 2 more expansions we haven't talked about yet that were leaked out of England, or not. I think out of Spain. Actually, it was leaked out of Spain. But yes, the other stuff out of Spain, there was the TIE RB and then like a placeholder title, and so that's looks like the TIE Brute is coming for the Empire, which will be the first Imperial expansion since 2nd edition. That's like new to the Empire, so that's cool. That is a cool Vader helmet. Thank you. Oh, Darth Vader likes the Darth Vader helmet. Well, this one's only a replica. Don't worry, Lord Vader. I will not ever be taking your things without expressed permission. And yes, Anakin for Legion. I actually have a video coming out about that tomorrow morning. So it's in the works right now. So yeah. Um, so I think the placeholder could be something rebellion, could be scum. But the whole thing about that leak was just very, very strange because, like, a lot of people think it's the Razor Crest from the Mandalorian. That might explain the secrecy. That might explain why there's a placeholder name. Another video I wanted to kind of talk about is: do you think, and we can talk about it here, do you think Fantasy Flight should start shipping information to retailers using exclusively placeholder names? Like, if you're a retailer, should you be given like a, hey, what do you want to order? Star Wars X-Wing expansion number 105, code name Eagle. Expansion number 106, code name Sparrow, etc. Is that like, should they do stuff like that? And because frankly, the leaks are out of control. When do you think a U-wing? All right. Well, I'm out of order here, but I see a question. When do you think a U-wing is coming out for X-Wing Second Edition? There already is one. It's in the Saws Renegades. If you've seen my Rebel What's It By First, you'll know that it's already there. It's the Saws version of the U-wing. It's not the full proper Rebellion version of the U-wing. I think they'll eventually do that, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was in like a double pack or something like that. With Nemesis coming back to Kickstarter, can you talk a little about your thoughts on it and your comparison on it to other games? Excellent question. I actually want to do a full-blown Nemesis kind of video or set of videos. And one of the things I've been doing is I've been restructuring my area out here so that I can set up bigger games and not have to tear them down. And so I can do series of videos. Nemesis is one, but there's another game coming back to Kickstarter. I'm going to come back to that. But I really have fun with Kickstarter. And the problem is the games are so big. So let me scroll up again. I missed a little bit of chat. Again, I may not get to every chat. I may not get to every question because when I start talking, I go off on a tangent. So if you want to support the channel with the super chat, that's going to get highlighted with priority. And so I'll get to that right away. But it's not required. It is appreciated, though. All right, so... but I want to touch on other games too, because Armada also has, the Clone Wars coming out. I've been doing a couple of videos, doing some speculation about that. There's another Armada battle report that is on Patreon right now. So that much is really cool. So yeah, the Armada. Oh, I'm a little crooked, aren't I? Am I a little crooked? I think maybe that's better. Is that better? I think that's better. Okay. But yeah, there's another Armada battle report on Patreon right now, early access, and that's one of the benefits of, I think, the A-Wing level and above is you get early access to battle reports and sometimes other videos, but usually battle reports. And there's lots of different tiers over on Patreon. Yes, a little admin time. I'm more crooked? I don't know. I look more straight on my screen. Yeah, it looks pretty straight. Pretty straight. I don't know. Maybe you typed, there might be a delay. You might have typed that when I was adjusting it. But yeah, so there's another battle report coming up on, that's already on Patreon right now. And let's see what else is coming out for Armada soon. Using the AI deck. The AI system, again, if you're new, or if you've gotten into Armada recently, if you didn't already know, there's an AI system on Crabbok.com. You can download that and you can either print it out and use them as cards, or you can just roll a D12 and kind of determine stuff that way. And we're still awaiting news. Now, I have reached out to FFG. I had done a live stream when Gen Con was canceled and was talking about trying to partner up with a lot of other companies and media outlets and provide more promotion for their games. I'm still working on doing that. I've talked to a couple of other game developers now. I don't think this is going to necessarily coincide with Gen Con weekend because there is going to be a digital or an online Gen Con. So they're going to have their own virtual con. So me trying to do stuff then is just going to get in the way of that, and I don't want to try to like step on their toes. Well, that wouldn't probably be the right word because I'm nowhere near as big as Gen Con, so it's the other way around. I don't want to get under their feet. because I don't like, they're already doing it, so I'd rather just watch and participate, and then take what's learned and rehash that. So what I'm just gonna work with people and promote stuff and hype things up as much as I can, and that might mean stepping outside of my normal bubble. So you're gonna see a couple of games coming out next week. There is actually, hold on a second, I have it right here. There's a new game coming out next week called Expansive Universe, and that is something that I am actually going to be promoting all week. So stay tuned for more details on that. There will also be a giveaway for Expansive Universe, so you can win a copy of that. But more about that next week. So, but that's from a company called Rainbow Starlight, and I'll be linking to it all week next week, and so that's something that's going to happen. There's some more Kickstarter videos that are coming up in the future. We already talked about some of them. There's some more. There's some surprises in there. There's some stuff related to different companies like Simon and Awaken Realms, and just great companies that I love working with, and some more stuff too. So there's more surprises coming. So that is always good. I think we've got another Battlestar Galactica video coming soon. So that much is cool. And yeah, so lots of really interesting stuff. I'm trying to branch out a little bit more in light of Gen Con's cancellation, right? But don't worry, because there's still plenty more Star Wars and Star Wars gaming. We have so much stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks, because June is coming around. There's a couple more collectibles. So for those of you who like the collectibles and like also seeing this stuff, these videos are very popular. The collectible videos are some of my most popular videos, and I love that because they are able to reach a lot of maybe people who aren't looking for Star Wars gaming, but they're looking for Star Wars in general. And so they reach, like they see the Boba Fett or the Darth Vader helmet videos. They're like, oh, that looks really cool. And they subscribe. And now I'm able to introduce them into Star Wars tabletop gaming and be like, hey, you like Darth Vader? How about a Star Destroyer on your tabletop? And here's a game you can play with your friends. And so I'm kind of like, I'm serving to reach a wider audience and bring more people into our hobby. And so that's kind of one of the things that I think is working out really well right now. So yes, all right, so I'm gonna get to some more questions here in a minute, but that's some of the stuff that's going on now. I've also reached out to Fantasy Flight. I have also reached out to them to specifically talk about, like, hey, is there any extra stuff I can do to hype things up? Is there any extra promotional stuff we can work on that I can work with you guys on? But yeah, that's one of the things that I want to do. I want to work with them some more, and even if that means outside of the normal games that I cover. If they have any new board games coming out. I know Corey Connexa has got another game coming out. I think it's coming out next year. But he's made some of the best games around. So he's a great designer. So I don't know what he's got coming out yet, but I'll have to keep my eye open for that. Although he's not with Fantasy Flight anymore. He's got a different studio, but I believe it's still under Asmodee. So that much is cool. We also have I believe Outer Rim is supposed to be getting something new, so I'm looking to support multiple things like that. Of course, again, Marvel Crisis Protocol. That's a real fun one. I haven't done a whole lot on that, but it's a fun game, and I do enjoy it. It's one that I want to play more often. But as far as the big three, X-Wing, Armada, and Legion. Legion stuff is shipping right now. Those 4 expansions are shipping. They're on the way. I got my pre-shipping notice. Not sure if the street date's still 5th of June or if it's going to be slightly after that. But the fact that they're getting ready to start shipping them soon, or the pre-order in process is good. X-Wing N1 Chromes, the Chrome N1 Starfighters, if you manage to secure one of those are shipping. I only got one. I had opportunities to get lots of them, but I'm like, no, I'm leaving those for everybody who wants them. I would have loved to get another one and like done a giveaway or something like that with it. That would have been pretty cool. But yeah, just one Chrome one and one would have been fine. Although 2 would have been kind of cool because then have the regular original and then 2 Chromes and playing like Bodyguard off of it might have been pretty sweet. But I mean, I can always do that with a Chrome pen. I've seen people with Chrome pens and they do great. So Legion stuff is shipping. Some X-Wing stuff is shipping. Some of the other stuff is going to be delayed a bit. I'm really thinking that hopefully we'll start getting some preview articles soon. And then Armada, who knows when we're gonna find out. Now, originally, I did hear that I think they had posted somewhere that they were supposed to have given the full Clone Wars preview at Adepticon, which is very interesting. And it's all the con cancellations. I'll talk more about the con cancellations in a little bit. But there's another Kickstarter I want to talk about briefly, because CMON did their digital expo, or their virtual. They do CMON Expo every year, but then they did that one virtualized also, and they hinted at the very, very end about not the next Kickstarter, because the next Kickstarter is a comic book Kickstarter, but their next big game Kickstarter, and the lights went out, and basically it's Massive Darkness. If you guys are not familiar with Massive Darkness, you're probably not alone. It was not as big of a game as I think they wanted it to be, but initially it did really well, because it was going off of the heels of Zombicide, and everybody's like, oh, it's another one of those type of games, and it raised millions. I went almost all in on Massive Darkness. Played it one time. Haven't even gotten it to table. That's one of the things I'm planning to do here soon, is start playing Massive Darkness again, relearn how to play it. Here's, in a nutshell, what Massive Darkness is. It's a medieval fantasy kind of timeline. Blends in, it actually has a crossover kit with Zombicide Black Plague, and it's a co-op, so you can play it solo, which means it's good for quarantine or social distancing also. So that much is good. But unlike Zombicide, where you're just killing stuff or whatever, we got a super chat from Bleed Green Productions. Thank you, Bleed Green Productions. They say Darth Jar Jar for Legion. I would love that. Hold on a second. Now you're making me think of something. I've got something like that around here. I've got one. Hold on. I'm looking. I've got it. I'm gonna show you a Darth Jar Jar. I'm digging through my pile of stuff here. Hold on, because I think I've got one. This is my my little junk box of extra stuff, because this would be so appropriate. Aha! There he is. Darth Jar Jar for Star Wars Legion. So there you go. You never know what's going to happen when you leave a super chat. I might just have your requested mini on hand. Thanks to Bleed Green Productions, by the way. You guys are always tipping and leaving super chats and stuff. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. No, I actually want to see. I would love to see like an expose or a documentary with George Lucas at some point, maybe even on his deathbed, what his original plans for Jar Jar Binks were before he changed it after Episode 1, before Episode 2. Because you've heard all the rumors about that Jar Jar was supposed to be a Dark Lord of the Sith, or like a secret enemy. That would have been amazing. So yeah, all right. So that would have been something. All right. So Massive Darkness, right? It's co-op. You pick a couple of different characters, and you're moving. It's got a light and dark mechanics where there's shadowed areas, and some characters get bonuses in the shadows. So that's kind of one of the mechanics it has going for it. But it's basically, in a lot of ways, it's not too dissimilar from Zombicide. It's got different dice. It's got 3 different colors of dice. It's got different colors of attack dice and different colors of defense dice. Maybe it's got 4 different colors of dice. I forget exactly how many colors of dice it has. But one of the really cool things about it is you spawn groups of monsters, or you'll spawn a single, like a boss monster. And the thing is, they drop loot. And so the items you get aren't just from searching rooms and treasure chests, although you can get items from treasure chests. Like a boss monster will call, like a were-rat or something will spawn, and he's walking around. And then when they spawn, you draw loot cards for them. But here's the beauty of the game. Everybody has like a class or certain types of weapons and stuff, that like one-handed, two-handed, ranged, like a bow and arrow or a spear, or things like that. If the monster got the slot, the specialty for the weapon type of the loot that it draws, then it actually gets to use that weapon against you. So if like a rat that normally would just be like a mediocre challenge spawns like with and his loot card is like a flaming two-handed sword, and turns out that he's got the slot or the icon that he can wield a two-handed sword, Well, then he, instead of it just being in his backpack, he pulls it out and he uses it in combat against you. So now he's so much harder to kill. So that's it seems like it has a little bit of Diablo. If you ever played the PC game, or it's actually for consoles now too, but Diablo reminds me of that a lot. It's got the dark, it's a little bit darker than Zombicide, a little bit more grim, but still cooperative, still fun, still soloable, and with that random loot aspect, and of course leveling up and getting powers, you can play it as a campaign. You can carry stuff over, or you can just play single missions. And I would be the person to probably just play at single missions. But for those of you who like campaigns is an option that they have for that. But yeah, no, it's real fun, and it's got one of the other things that's great about it is like if you look at a game like Zombicide, all the stretch goals and extras are all extra heroes, and the problem is you're only playing with 6. I mean, you can play with a few more, a few less, or whatever, but generally most missions are designed around 6 heroes, and there's like hundreds and hundreds of stretch goals. Like each Kickstarter has like about 100 extra heroes. You've got more heroes than you'll ever use. But on the other side, you actually run out of zombies in the game, and so they should add more zombies, right? And that's the problem is like you've got all these heroes. You almost have, in some cases, you have more heroes than you do zombies, and the game plays with like 50 zombies on the table at a time, sometimes more, sometimes less, you know? So it's like, I always felt there was a balance, a slightly different balance, because I never needed that many heroes. Like usually a game that runs 6 heroes and I want replayability, I usually want like a little more than twice that. So between like 15 and 20 is perfect. But when they give you like 80, 90, 100, it's just overkill. And so I like the balance on Massive Darkness, the way they did their Kickstarters and their extra stuff, is that, I think you play with 4 heroes, and I think they gave you like 10 total or something like that. So a little more than half. And most of the stretch goals are like the boss monsters and the things that can randomly show up in your games. And so that's just like a really, really fun aspect to me. So everything about it appealed to me. I just, like at the time that it showed up, the channel was getting busier and I was having less and less time to do stuff like that. So I just ended up hardly ever getting it to the table. So that's where we stand for Massive Darkness right now. I'm gonna pull it out again. All right, let's look at a couple of questions here. All right, so and if you guys are just tuning in, we were talking about some of the stuff is shipping now, like X-Wing's Chrome N1 is shipping, and then the what is it? The Four Legion stuff is. Hey, Sean, what's going on? We did when you and I played it in that hurricane. That was the only time I've played Massive Darkness. So it looks like they're bringing Massive Darkness back to Kickstarter, or doing a round 2 for Massive Darkness or something like that. So I want to get reacquainted with the game before they bring it back to Kickstarter, so I can say to myself, oh yeah, I still love this game, I want to back it. Or, oh, this one did not age well, let me save my money, right? Like that's what I want to do. It's a pretty good idea. All right. Let's see. Why isn't FFG posting Star Wars content, being 40 years of Empire Strikes Back? Well, they have. Mariano asks, why hasn't FFG posted stuff for Empire Strikes Back? Yeah, they posted a couple of the artwork that they've done that was based on Empire Strikes Back, with developer or different employees, like quotes or inspirational things or their memories of Empire Strikes Back. So they posted some stuff to social media. I know you probably want like a new product announcement or something to coincide with Empire Strikes Back, and I understand that, but I don't know what's going on with FFG right now. They're so behind on a lot of things, and I'm willing to cut them a lot of slack, so I'm not going to beat them up too much, because hey, COVID-19's like a real problem, and I really, really get that, but they were having problems before that. All right. Most wanted Clone Wars upgrades card. Upgrades card for Armada. Well, I have no idea. I haven't seen. I've only seen 4 cards: 2 commanders and two upgrades. So I that's a tough one, because I honestly don't know. I would like to see something that upgrades anti-squadron armament. I've always wanted that. I don't know if we'll ever get that, but that would be really interesting. But yeah, but it really depends because who knows what kind of changes are going to come to the game once Clone Wars comes out. Um, yeah, and it is understandable that they can't deliver. Well, they're starting to. They're starting the deliveries up again. The weird thing. Here's what I don't get, and this is strange to me, and this is just a simple me not understanding. I'm not trying to throw shade with this because I'm sure there's a good reason, but I understood them saying, um, I understood them saying that hey, we weren't going to ship new releases during the lockdown, even though they may have had some, like I talked to some people from FFG from time to time when they will respond to me, which is rare. Uh, but I talked to them and they they got a lot of stuff going on. They didn't have anybody in the warehouse because they had to all work from home too, and you know, so like I understood that they all right, they weren't going to ship new product. But what's weird is that they were restocking stuff. They were restocking. Like I saw so many retailers. I follow some retailers on the, social media and stuff. Retailers were posting stuff every week of getting restocks from lots of companies, but a lot of them from Asmodee and Fantasy Flight. I saw Armada getting restocked. I saw Legion getting restocked like every week during the lockdown. Who is shipping this stuff out? Who is sending it to them? That's what I don't get. If you're not, I understand you're not wanting to send new stuff because you don't want people to be like, oh, I want the new stuff. I have to go out to the store. Oh, but it's COVID-19. I don't want to feel forced to go to the store. I get that. But they did it anyway. That's the thing I don't understand. Not even just the restocks, but they also shipped, the 4 Legion expansions. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Like not to everybody, but to some people. Go figure. I mean, I don't know. And again, there may be good reasons for this stuff. I just don't know it. Maybe it's not my job to know because I don't work in distribution, manufacturing, and I'm not a supply guy. I don't work on that. I work IT, and I work in YouTube and gaming news and gaming entertainment and nunchuck delivery. That's what nunchuck delivery. Nunchuck Entertainment Delivery. Brought to you by Virtual Nunchucks. One of these days, I'm going to whack myself in the face with these things. And you guys are going to see it live. One of these days. But that day is not today. Anyway, is the Superstar Destroyer expansion pack worth it for Armada? That's entirely subjective on how much you like big, huge, gorgeous miniatures. And for me, it's a resounding yes. I would have paid double to get that thing if that's what it took because I wanted it that bad. I've wanted it for a long time. But that's my biased opinion. Most opinions are biased. Don't you hate it when people say they're going to bring you an unbiased opinion? I don't think that's possible. I don't think it's possible to bring an unbiased opinion. I think at best, you can bring a moderately biased opinion. All right, so we're going to do a couple of questions. So let's see. Because I think I've kind of covered the 4 minis games that I generally cover. We've got more lightsabers, by the way, coming out next month, too. There's more collectibles coming out. June has some more. July has some more. This rest of this year, there's more helmets. There's more lightsabers. There's all kinds of cool stuff coming up. I am a big fan of that. If the Stinger Mantis from Jedi Fallen Order could come to X-Wing, will it be on Rebel or Scum? I think Rebel. I think it's easily Rebel. Yeah. I think Cal would be Rebel. And he would obviously be on part of that ship. All right. Favorite Black Series helmet and lightsaber? I'm going with the Darth Vader helmet as my favorite one. It's certainly the most intricate. I think it's the most undercosted, as considering almost all the rest are just a single piece, and that one's like 4 pieces. It's like 4 pieces. It also has like magnets and it has the most electronics into it. And it also fits my giant head, even with glasses. That one is my favorite. Although, to be fair, the Luke Skywalker one does too, but that one, also makes me look like Wedge. No, I mean Biggs. It makes me look like Biggs because, although my mustache is a little shorter now. Somebody also earlier asked about how is my lip healing. And thank you for asking. It's healing up really nice. You can barely even see it anymore. Although if you were, for whatever reason, like touching my lips, like it's around the parts where it healed, it's still swollen underneath. And so from like here all the way up to here, all around there, it's swollen. It doesn't show up very much, but I can feel it if I touch my face. I can feel it. It's like, whoa, what is that? And it feels kind of like the consistency as if you had an ingrown hair or something like that, but all the way around the slash that was like this giant gash in my face. So like it's all, and it's not as big as it was a couple weeks ago. So I think this is the part that's going to take like months to fully heal, but it's like 90% healed. So that's cool. All right. So let's see. What else do we got? What are we doing on Friday night? Oh, I want to ask you guys. Well, I recently turned my friend Sean. I showed him about this game. Have you guys ever played Town of Salem? Well, there's a physical game for it. But have you ever played Town of Salem on Steam? Town of Salem on Steam. It's a mafia game. I'm not. This isn't like an endorsement. Well, it's me personally endorsing. It's not a paid endorsement or anything like that. It's just a fun little game. Like I love games like Werewolf and things like that. If you guys are watching this, if you're not already a member of my Discord, definitely join my Discord, because one of the things I was considering doing is doing like game nights, because I was looking at new reward ideas for Patreon, by the way. And so I'm one really cool way to get a lot of people in is to do like a game like Town of Salem. It plays 15 at a time. You can do custom games. You can form parties, and so we could all group up in Discord. We wouldn't even have to use the chat. We could be all in voice chat, talking to each other. Playing. And what Town of Salem is it's basically Werewolf. Have you ever been to a con and they have you all sit around in a circle? Somebody moderates, and he's like, "All right, you all get a card, and it's going to tell you what you are. You're either like a townsperson, or you're the werewolf, or you're some townsperson with a special role." And he says, "Everybody go to sleep," and you close your eyes and you look down, and so you're asleep. And he'll be like, "All right, werewolf, wake up." And the guy is standing in the middle, so the werewolf will wake up, and they make eye contact. He goes, "Werewolf, point to who you want to kill tonight." And he'll just pick somebody at random or whatever and point. And then they're like, "Werewolf, go to sleep." And then he'll have other people wake up, like, "Doctor, wake up. Who do you want to save tonight?" And the doctor has no idea. So, and they all do this. There's a series of days and nights. And now during the day, they have like 2 minutes to discuss amongst themselves what they think happened. Because some people have roles that give them information, like there's a sheriff or an investigator and things like that. A seer who can determine somebody's role or something like that. And they basically will be able to vote to hang somebody or vote to kill somebody during the day. And then once they're dead, at least in Town of Salem, then the role is now known. It's like, "Oh, you accidentally killed a fellow townsman. All right, nighttime has fallen. Everybody go to sleep." And then you repeat. And then the town gains more, and they basically have to vote to hang the werewolf. Well, in Town of Salem, it's changed a little bit, because instead of the werewolf, there can still be a werewolf, but there's a separate faction called the Mafia. And the Mafia is this group that is, they can all talk to each other at night. And so they're now online. They all know. And so then during the day when everybody's talking, they're more likely to defend each other. Like, "No, I know, I already checked him. He's good." They can lie for each other and stuff like that. But yeah, so Werewolf is really fun. Town of Salem is a great version of it. It's basically Mafia, but it plays on its own client. It's gotten much better over time. I think it's real cheap. I don't know what it costs on Steam. I think it's only a couple of bucks. But anyway, if you guys wanted to do that, I would love to set up some games in Discord, and we could do custom games, or we could group up together. Now, you're not supposed to be in a private chat with anybody else in the game, because what you can say to people and stuff is going to be limited by the you can be limited by the specific chat functions in the game. So like if we're both talking to each other, and like, oh, I'm Mafia, oh, I'm Town, oh, okay, well, you know what, I'm gonna help. I'll tell you who the other Mafia people are. Like that's cheating, so you can't do that. So like it's better if we're all in voice chat and stuff like that, and you kind of have to do it with the honor system. So it's generally you don't play it specifically to win, you play it for the experience. And so if anybody wanted to do that for good, fun-loving purposes, let me know. If you're not already in Discord, you should definitely get in Discord. Also, I'm going to take some more questions here. I do want to remind you guys, if you hadn't seen already, there's some new merch. I linked it in the the community page. So if you don't know if you saw a community post, I think I linked it on Facebook. But I've got new, they're like basically scarves, but they're gator necks, and they're like face masks. They're wrap around so they don't tug on your ears, and they have designs on them. So I've got the one that's the double critical face mask. I've got the Darth Vader one that's in there. It's Vader's face. Although the preview for that one, if you look below the videos, down below the video description, you're gonna see a couple of them. There's like a double critical red black. If you scroll over, you're gonna see a Crab Vader neck gator. That one, it only shows you black. It's like the preview. They changed the format on me, so I have another one pending right now, which will have a better preview. But it's basically, makes the bottom of your face look like Darth Vader. But there's some new designs that should be showing up. They're available if you go to the Teespring website and look at the shop. But I've got an Ahsoka one and a Boba Fett one. And I went through some trouble because I had to name them different things because it wouldn't let me name them, Darth Vader or Boba Fett and stuff. So I called the Boba Fett one the Sandalorian because he died in Tatooine in sand. And I called the Ahsoka one the Apprentice. So those are there. All right, so hi everybody. I'm going to take some questions now. Bammers asks, who is your favorite Star Wars character? I'm probably just going to say Darth Vader, or Anakin Skywalker, maybe, depending on how you look at it. I think that's kind of that's always been a good one for me. But I also am really particular to Mace Windu, and the version of Finn that was fighting Kylo Ren with the lightsaber in Episode 7. I wanted to see Jedi Finn, so that would have been a good one too. Oh no, Thrawn, definitely Thrawn. All right, let's see here. I missed a couple, so I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Trying to get your friends into X-Wing through TTS. Any tips to help them out? I don't play Tabletop Simulator very much, but there's an app. If you've seen some of my recent X-Wing battle reports, there's an app called Fly Casual. I would definitely suggest that one way more. It's just a lot easier, and it's built specifically to run X-Wing and only X-Wing. So there's less of a learning curve. You don't have to learn the interface quite so much. Let's see. All right. Can you explain this description? Paradise is surrounded by hardships, and the fire is surrounded by desires. No. I can't. I don't know what. It sounds like something out of a Typo Negative song. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. Will there be any more restocks of Imperial Star Destroyers and light cruisers? Yeah. I don't know when. What is your Discord? If you go down to the video description, like directly below this directly below this rectangle, just go down there a little bit more. You're going to see the video description. It'll say, curious about any products you see in my videos? Check my website for more information about them. http://www.crabbok.com, blah, blah. But keep going down. There's going to be a link for Discord server. You may have to click show more. But the Discord server is going to be in there. There's also other links in there for social media like Twitter and or Facebook and the Double Critical podcast. If you're interested in that on Podbean or Apple Podcasts, we're on there. There's Patreon links. There's links to the different stores. if you want to check out luxury playstyle and buy some awesome double full metal tokens and save 15% by using my code Crabbok VIP. All of that stuff is there. So always check the video description, because usually whatever I'm talking about, if I'm making a video about a specific purpose, you'll be able to find it in the video description. All right. One thing that's also coinciding with COVID-19's like lockdown restrictions starting to like begin to come to an end, it's heating up. I live in Florida. It's a little bit warm tonight. I'm just realizing. Now, granted, I'm under lights and stuff like that, so it's always a little bit warmer out here. But man, it was real nice for like the longest time when it was just cool out here. I need to get air conditioning in the garage. That needs to be a fundraising goal. Let me film more from the the proper filming location, because I do a lot of stuff at my computer and have the green screen and the motion, the fancy background behind there, and that works great. But I have a small house. I actually don't have a very huge place to do all of the stuff that I do. So and then of course I've got a lot of kids, and so coming out into the garage is one of the few ways I can generally make sure that my kids don't start screaming and fighting, and then you hear all kinds of crazy stuff in the background, or kids waking up and Daddy, I made poo poo. You don't want to see stuff like that in the middle of a video, even though I just did it. So I guess you're gonna see it anyway. But that sort of stuff happens. So like filming out here, I can get a little bit of I guess I'd say privacy, but I'm on the internet, so it's really not private. All right, 66 in Pennsylvania. I wish it was 66 right now. That would be awesome. What color would you recommend priming clone troopers, and why? I use Tamiya white. It's a very, very bright white, but I think any very light, you can do any light gray or white is probably going to be all right. I think Sarastro. As a matter of fact, check out Sean's video. In all of I don't have the link off the top of my head right now, but Sean Abbott has an Instagram and a YouTube channel where he is linking. He actually did a whole paint through of clone troopers, and basically, in summary, like after priming, it's a real easy way to do this is with Apothecary White, which is a contrast paint from GW, and or from Citadel specifically. And any advice for someone shipping off to boot camp soon? Get used to drinking water. Start running. Get used to running, and keep the faith. Stay hopeful. Stay optimistic while you're out there, because you're going to go through a life change, and it's going to be hard at times, but it's also going to be one of the best times of your entire life from a certain point of view. You'll find that many of the truths we hold to depend very greatly on your own point of view. No, but you're going to do all right. Listen to your drill sergeants or drill instructors, depending on what branch of the military you're going into. They're there to make sure that you stay alive, and to discipline you, and to train you and transform you into a lean, mean fighting machine. And it's an experience that you will never forget. But fitness is a very important part. Make sure you're getting lots of sleep. Make sure you're good at getting up. Don't talk back. Do your absolute best in all things that you do, and you will shine. Just don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. I didn't think I was going to make it, but I didn't give up, even though I wanted to at times. And the hardest part of basic training for me, when I went through years and years ago, decades and decades ago, was just the life change. I was used to certain creature comforts and being at home and my video games and, just a relaxed lifestyle. And family and friends and things, and just being taken away from everything, from my home, from my family, from my friends, from my mom, from my little sister, from everything I've known, and being transplanted into this place that was cold and strange and unfamiliar, being transplanted into like this bay, with drill sergeants that were not very friendly, at least at first. over time, though, they grow on you. You begin to respect them, and you, in a sense, it's the best word I can come up with. It is there's a type of love that you will have for your drill sergeants. It's a parental kind of camaraderie that's very hard to it's hard to define it specifically, but it's unique, and there's a bond there, and it's based on respect and admiration, and they become like family to you. But it takes time, and it's very scary at first. So you'll be all right though. Yes, that is a Type O positive sticker behind me there. It's and if you guys asked what branch of service I served in the Army for a long time. Well, not that long. I didn't retire from the Army. I did some time, and then I got out. I still, I'm still a contractor. I still work related to the Army, but not in the Army. Let's see. But yes, that is a Type O positive sticker. It's Type O negative is my favorite band, and it was my favorite band in high school. It's been my favorite band growing up, and I saw this at Star Wars Celebration Chicago. Once you get past the main vendors, there's always these little vendors in the back that are more like flea markets and stuff, and they have just little odds and ends and everything. And we're selling Type O positive stickers, and it's Type O negative, but they've all been photoshopped into like having smiles on their faces, and it's the most hilarious thing. Especially if you know Type O negative, they don't smile, right? So I was like, that is the most amazing thing. And I'm a goofy guy. Like, I'm not a stereotypical Type O negative fan. I'm not dark and brooding. Not very often, at least. So I thought it was like, I've gotta have that. Yeah, you were sent the same sticker when you ordered a bust of Peter Steele. That's awesome. What do you think are the keywords that Inferno Squad will have? Maybe infiltrate. I could definitely see them having infiltrate. They're not going to have steady, since they get that from the card, right? They might have marksman. I don't know. I can't wait to find out. I would love to get some articles. From Fantasy Flight showing us some of this new stuff from Inferno Squad. Right? I'm so excited to play Inferno Squad. But I'm going to tell you, a lot of people talk about Legion, and they say, hey, we want, is there anybody like detailing specific units? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do my first one about snowtroopers, because I think those, like Del Mico is going to be so awesome in a snowtrooper unit. And so I'm almost more excited about what Inferno Squad can mean for other units rather than the unit themselves. It's just what a cool expansion they're going to be. So I like that. I like that a lot. What is your favorite Star Destroyer for the Empire? Well, in canon, the Eclipse, because it's a Super Star Destroyer, right? Hey everybody, what's going on? If you're just joining us now, we've been chatting for a while, just about all kinds of stuff in particular. But yeah, I don't know. I really liked the Eclipse, the Legends version of it. I'm really disappointed we never got to see it in the sequel trilogy. Oh, the sequel trilogy. I need to do some videos talking about that. I think the sequel trilogy was a little bit of a disappointment. But I think it's going to get better over time, but it's going to take a long time before we go back and we look at the sequel trilogy and say, man, those were pretty good, actually. I enjoyed them. I'm not trying to say I didn't enjoy those films. It's very easy for me to go to a movie theater or see a movie and have a great time, especially when it's Star Wars. I was over the moon with those movies, but at the same time, there's a lot of things I think they can improve on, or could have improved on, and I think there's things that they can do in the future to help out. All right, but let's save some of that for other stuff. Your main disappointment from the sequel trilogy was no ships for Armada. Well, there's not many. There's really not many ships for Armada. I feel like the First Order potentially has some. There was some stuff in the comic books. Like I think they need to have more TV series that move forward in time. I think what made the prequel trilogy so much more beloved by the fans was the Clone Wars. You had 5, 6, 7 seasons of the Clone Wars, right? first 5, then 6, then 7. That type of stuff, all that, the like 20 years of introspection and additional content and stuff like that gave the Clone War or the prequel trilogy time to kind of think of it like a loaf of bread. If you've ever made bread, you roll it up, you mix the ingredients, you knead it, and you don't just bake it right away. That's kind of what the sequel trilogy, it was like a loaf of bread that you just stuck in the oven and baked. And no, man, you got to put your yeast in there. The Clone Wars was the yeast, and time was the time. So what happens when you put yeast in bread and you let it sit? It rises. It rises. Why am I whispering? It rises. I'm talking like a preacher. And the prequels wouldn't have been as good, but on the 7th day, God added the yeast. And by God, I mean George Lucas. And he said, grow! And the Clone Wars did come down the mountain, holding the 2 tablets of Jedi commandments with Dave Filoni. And he said, let my people see more of the Jedi and the Separatists. And Grievous would fight Obi-Wan multiple times before Episode 3, lending confusion to his reveal that he had been trained with his lightsabers by Count Dooku. We already know that now. But back then we did not know. And so goes the tale of Filoni's excellence. And into the future he shall bring a similar gospel of style, flavor, and most importantly, yeast to make the sequels rise. It takes time. You stick it in the oven. What am I talking about? You stick it in the oven. And once it's risen, then you get yourself a nice loaf of bread that you can slice off. And it's video games, that's a slice. You got more books, there's a slice. You got a TV series, there's a slice. Ahsoka getting their own TV series. Who am I talking of? What the hell am I doing? Oh, yeah. It's we're going crazy here, but no. But I guess that's my point. Is that the sequel trilogy needed more time. Like one of the biggest things that hurt the sequel. I said I wasn't going to talk about the sequel trilogy. One of the biggest things that hurt the sequel trilogy was the fact that they've got the 2/3 of the trilogy happen within 24 hours. Like, there's no time for it to grow. Even if you added the yeast still needs to blow up. You stick a piece of dough straight in the oven, you're going to get a breadstick. You're not going to get a loaf of bread. You go in an Olive Garden, you're only going to get one breadstick. It's going to be about the size of a nunchuck. And only one nunchuck is never enough to whoop some ass. Michelangelo knows that all too well. That's why Leonardo uses katanas, because he follows the Dave Filoni philosophy. What the Anyway, I think the heat is getting to me now. My point is, we do need more about the sequel trilogy for it to matter. And I feel like a whole series that's going on, painting all the background stuff, like there's so many unanswered questions that can be dealt with. We may eventually come back to the sequel trilogy and say, oh, okay, hey, when we saw those 3 Snokes in the jar and inside of Palpatine's planet, that was actually really cool because that meant yada, 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 and yada, yada. Who knows? I don't know. And this is Coke Zero, by the way. Because I'm in ketosis right now. Can't have sugar. Can't have Diet Coke either, because that messes with the body chemistry and stuff. No whiskey, no bourbon, no alcohol at all today. I've been trying to cut back a little bit. But yeah. Anyway, which is better, the Eclipse or the Executor? The Eclipse. It had a super well, in Legends, it had a super weapon on it. In canon, we don't know much other than it was supposedly an Executor class Dreadnought, so it was the same class as the Executor, but it maybe the First Order modified it to give it the big beard or something like that. Wow. All right, well, sorry I didn't get some more questions. Big thanks again to Bleed Green Productions for the super chat. You guys are awesome. Thanks for supporting the channel. But be sure to check out the merch. We got new merch that's coming up, and I'm going to have it, once it's processed and everything, I'll have more of it like showing underneath the videos so you can see them. But man, I think we're going to be wearing masks for a very long time, especially if we want to do conventions and if you want to go to theme parks or concerts and stuff like that, I think masks are going to be either suggested and or mandatory for a long time. And also gator necks, even when you don't have to wear masks anymore, that's why I didn't want to do regular face masks as much. They're great for cold weather. They're great for cold weather because they're multi-purpose. You can use them on your head. You can use them around the back of your head. They can protect your ears. They can protect your mouth, your nose. They're just multi-purpose. They're awesome. I really like them. Genuinely, I actually ordered a couple more, so I'm going to be able to show you some of the new ones when they show up. But that's all I've got. Think, let's see, we got any more questions? Is the Executor a good Star Destroyer? Thank you, Chris, for the comment. I appreciate it. Is the Executor a good Star Destroyer? Well, I mean, it's a Star Dreadnought, but I mean, we also call it a Super Star Destroyer. Yeah, in Star Wars Armada, it's super fun. It's super fun. I got 3 Snokes in a jar. It won't get very far. I can throw them in my car. Won't you see me coming? Yeah, yeah. 3 Snokes in a jar. Yeah. I don't know. What's your current favorite team to run in Marvel Crisis Protocol? I haven't even run everybody yet. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is really, really cool, though, because I like Rocket's abilities. He's got some really cool glass cannon mechanics that seem really fun. Although I also really do like Captain America as the leader, so it's like, I'd have a harder time trying to do that. Really like Spider-Man's speed. I think Spider-Man's a really, really fun character to have. I don't play it enough to really know meta and know who's crazy good and who's not good. I've heard people saying that Shuri is like mandatory. She's like overpowered because she can push people up for objective play, and objective play is fine, but I also like to kill people. So speaking of killing people, a couple of you have suggested a game called Unmatched. So that's another game I'm going to be taking a look at. That is on its way. So that one will be really fun. So stay tuned for lots more cool stuff like that. Let's see. Anakin Skywalker. Yes. Yeah. So comments about Anakin Skywalker for Legion. I don't want to talk too much about it because I just got done recording a video all about Anakin Skywalker. We're going to talk about him tomorrow morning. So if you don't have that little bell for alerts clicked, click the bell for alerts so you won't miss out on the video. But that's coming out tomorrow morning. But I'm not sure. It all depends on which version of Anakin they do and what power level they want to give him. If they think they want to do only one version of Anakin and only one ever, then so be it. But considering that Luke and Vader each got other versions, that makes me think they could do lots of different versions of Anakin. And so that's one of the things I talk about. Power level 9001. Any tips for getting started in Star Wars Armada? This channel is full of them. Check out my Discord. The easiest way to do it, go to my Discord. There's a link in the description below. It's close to the bottom. But I have a video library series of channels that are just certain videos. I have like 7 different channels there. 2 of them are dedicated to Armada. One is Armada battle reports. The other one is Armada like guides. And that is all my like how to play Armada, what to buy first, getting started, helpful videos for Star Wars Armada. Hopefully I can teach you the basics. There are other platforms out there that go into very advanced stuff for Armada. So if you decide you want to start playing in tournaments and being very competitive, there's blogs out there. There's lots of stuff like that. There's not that many podcasts. There's not really that many people making a lot of Armada content, but there's other YouTube channels. Karnak runs a YouTube channel. There's Star Wars Armada Explained. There's a lot of other resources. I'm really here to kind of get you up to a certain point, and once you're stable and familiar, and hand you off. There's also an Armada Discord that's only Armada. No, we have Armada in my Discord. But if you want to if you also want to join another Discord that is like 100% Armada, there's links to all of those other communities in my Discord as well. Terrain for Armada. I don't think we're ever going to see that. That would be kind of cool though. Like, wouldn't it be interesting to run Armada on a Legion board with Legion terrain and you had to fly around like buildings and stuff, almost like you were in low orbit combat of like in Coruscant, maneuvering around cityscapes. Like that would be kind of interesting. It would be a little unrealistic, but that would be kind of cool. My website is super helpful also. Thank you. I tried, I'll tell you guys a secret. I lose money on the website. I know I have some ads on the website, and I apologize for that, but that's just there for me to try to, like, I want to make it at least self-sufficient. It's not there yet. So like when there's ads pop up, if you click on them or whatever, or especially if you see something you want to buy on one of those ads, definitely use that link because that helps me. And I'm not trying to get rich off of the website. The website is meant to be there as just like, because sometimes there's something I want to put out that I can't give you through YouTube. And a great example for that is Legion and Armada, the AI system, the PDF documents that I want to be able to host that you can all just download. I need the website for that. Lots of things like that. Write-ups and then collections of videos. Now I can also do some of that in Discord, and that's great. But the website is that static place for you to be able to download stuff, and it costs money. It costs me every month for hosting, and it also costs me a larger chunk once a year to register the domain and all of that stuff. So I have some ads turned on, and I still lose money, but I gain like a few bucks a month, from the website. Sometimes it's less than $1 a month. I actually make in ads off of that website. So not very much, but it cost me about $10 a month to run the website just for the hosting, and then it doesn't include. I don't remember what it costs for the domain registration, but it's a little more than $10. But it boils down. It's not that much because I do also make some money off of YouTube ad revenue. So and that's supposed to go for for games and for hardware and software and things like that for making the channel, but. I've been doing good, and I've been rolling it over for a con fund. So I had a little nest egg set aside for Gen Con, and now that's not happening. So now I got to figure out what the next con I'm gonna keep saving up, and maybe I'll get to go to 2 cons next year. Double down in 2021, make it worth it. I am already thinking Adepticon would be a really good one to go to, and so I'm gonna try and go to Adepticon and Gen Con. I'm gonna try and do both. And then I don't know if there'll be anything else worth going to, or that I'll have the opportunity, both time and money, to go to. I might not have that. I'm hoping. Well, the real winner would be if airline tickets stay super cheap over the next year. PAX Unplugged. I don't know if that's going to happen. It's still kind of in that uncertain area on whether they're going to have really big things. JJ, what's going on? How am I doing tonight? I'm doing good. I'm hot. I've been out here for an hour already, and I'm sweating. It's starting to get warm in the garage under the bright lights that I've got shown. It doesn't even look that bright. Like, it's funny because the lights are so bright, but I probably just look like I'm in normal lighting. That's what it takes for photography, for video and stuff. You need really bright lights to just look normal. But the lights are hot. How do I decide when to get rid of a game? I almost never get rid of a game. No, when I don't have room, that's the timing. If I don't have room for games, like a new game, like a Kickstarter shows up or something like that, or a lot of times developers will ship me games, and if I don't have room for a game, that's when I'm like, all right, I need to make some room. I take a look at what I still have coming or what I'm expecting to get, and then I'd be like, I need to make this much room for as far as shelf space, and then I start going through everything. I'm like, all right. If a game shares similar mechanics to another game, that's when I'm like, all right, well, which one would I rather play? Like if I've got a cooperative game, and if I got 2 different cooperative games, I'm like, all right, well, these 2 games are similar. Which one would I prefer to play if given the choice of only one? And that's one I keep, and then maybe the other one I either sell or donate. I actually donated a whole bunch of games recently. I donated 20 games. So I have never played Cosmic Encounter. Chris is asking, have I ever played Cosmic Encounter? No, I have not. I know that's a classic game. I just simply never got around to it. Do you think the developers will decide to go for online reveals? Yes, I do think. I don't know if they'll do that as a norm all the time. But, I mean, FFG already does that to a certain extent. But I think there's a certain kind of prestige or maybe a tradition in having a big in-flight brief in person from time to time, and they can do the hybrid method of also live streaming it, but having it there for the media is good for them because one of the things you don't see about FFG's in-flight brief is that there's a media room set up behind the scenes, And as media, I get a little media pass, and I'm able to go in there. And they've been nice enough to give me that for 2 years in a row now. The first year, I didn't know there was a room. Whoa! We got a super chat from Bishop Tull, $30. Holy moly, Bishop! Thank you so much, dude. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. He says, I don't have much, but happy to help. Again, your website with the YouTube videos and a lot help a lot while learning to play Armada and Legion. Dude, thank you so much, Bishop. That is incredibly helpful, and yeah, I appreciate that, man. That alone is going to pay for 3 months worth of the website, so that's amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Wow, I'm kind of blown away. That's actually, dude, that is the biggest super chat I have ever gotten. That is you're the champion right now. You are the champ. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Although I will say, Bleed Green has given a lot of times in smaller amounts, so I haven't done the math to see where they all add up. But Bleed Green, you're also a champion too. All right. Wow. Thank you so much, man. And hopefully I can continue to be helpful. I know with the Clone Wars coming out, I expect there to be some rules updates and things like that. And one of the things is I have been reaching out to FFG. If you haven't already seen, I've done like live streams with the community where I play one side and I let you guys collectively play the other side, and you vote, and everybody has to kind of agree like what ship's going to go next. You guys tell me in chat what commands do you want to reveal. Tell me in chat, so on and so forth. Like interactive games, letting you actually play. And maybe like when the Clone Wars comes out, and if you guys know anybody at FFG, if you talk to them, let them know if you think this would be a good idea, because I've emailed them multiple times. I don't know if they just get so many emails, or maybe they just don't like me, or because I usually don't get responses. Every once in a while I'll get a response. But when it comes to requesting exclusives or previews or review copies of stuff, it's hard to get a response. I did get the review copy of Armada Wave 7 years ago. That was a huge surprise, and I'm super, super thankful for that. But yeah, so we'll catch up on the stream when it gets to VOD. I don't know what VOD is. VOD. I don't know. Voice on demand? Oh, video on demand. Oh, when it shows up later. Yeah. No problem, Daniel. Well, Daniel Jury, thanks for hanging out with us. All right, but anyway, yeah, so I'm hoping that if I can get an early copy of the Clone Wars content, I would love to run an online stream with you guys versus me. We'll play it together in live. It would be a live demo, an interactive live demo. You guys get to play one side, I get to play the other side. We'll run through a couple of rounds, get a feel for how the new factions work. I want to do all of that. And I've reached out to them. I'm like, let's try and do this. Since we can't have Gen Con this year, I have no doubts that they would have had the Clone Wars like ready to go for Gen Con. Like, hey, come demo Armada Clone Wars. Boom. Let's play it. Well, I can do that. I do that. I've done that multiple times now with Armada. So I don't know if anybody at FFG is watching, but let's do that. Let's make that happen. That would be so cool. Let everybody get a chance to play it and say, hey, this was fun, or at least watch it played, and then pre-order if they want to pre-order, But I want to help out. I'm trying to come up with clever, creative, new ways to engage people, new ways to reach people, and I think stuff like that would be really fun. Do you think they will release cross-compatible ships for factions? I think so. I think the Clone Wars is absolutely begging for them to do that. The Architans is a gimme. The Pelta is a gimme. You're definitely going to get stuff. Now, they may be different sculpts, or I don't know if they'll be cross expansion packs or not, but that's awesome. Have I ever asked for the throwdown with Master of the Fleet? I am friends with the guys at Master of the Fleet. They are awesome. They're good friends of the channel. We have not had our schedules and our locations line up yet, but I am absolutely down to play them whenever it ends up being feasible. Yeah, no, I would love a game, whether it's Legion or Armada. I mean, I think they do a little bit of X-Wing too, but they're primarily Legion now. They don't do as much Armada. Armada's been kind of hurting a little bit. Now, we've got an infusion of a lot of new stuff recently, but I don't think it's going to be until the Clone Wars hits that Armada really gets the lifeblood pumping. and not just Clone Wars coming out, but also the card packs and hopefully reprints that come out with Armadas, because so many new players are getting into Armada and they can't get an Architans, they can't get a Quasar, they can't get Hammerheads, they can't get an MC-80, they can't get an Imperial Star Destroyer, all this stuff that's just Gladiators, they can't get squadron packs that they need, you name it. These are problems. These need to be fixed. You don't have that many products for Armada. Order some Architans, order 10,000 of them. Then keep them in the warehouse. They will sell. I'll buy half of those. I love the Architans. I'm joking. I already have 5 of them, though. And I encourage people to buy them, too, because they're great. But yeah, let's see. All right, so I'm going to wrap up here shortly. Let's see. I think I know I missed a lot of questions because we kind of got going a bit there. Let's see. I'm just looking here. Tips for painting squadrons and Armada. Small brush. I haven't painted squadrons from Armada in a long time because we haven't really had a whole lot of new squadron packs. The last new squadrons we had was the Gauntlet Fighter that came with the Wave 7. That was over 2 years ago. That was almost 3 years ago. Was that over 3 years ago? Holy moly. Man, I've been playing these games for a long time. I'm getting old, folks. Wow. Yeah. All right. Where do you get your paint for Legion? I use a couple of different paints. I started out using Citadel paints by Games Workshop. I think they're by Games Workshop. They're in the pods. You open the top and then just dip your brush in and close the top. Those didn't stay sealed all the way, so they would dry out a lot, and those are also very expensive. They were like $4 or $5 per. Then I started, I had Green Stuff World send me a bunch of paints, and so I used some of those. I've been transitioning over to more and more Vallejo paints, though. And Vallejo is real nice, and theirs are in the dropper bottle, so I'm going to be, like, if I'm using a wet palette or any type of palette where I want to squeeze out some, I could just squeeze out a couple of drops and then mix and do whatever I want. And they stay, it's a much better deal, and they're usually cheaper also. So I like Vallejo as probably my favorite. I don't have any sponsorships from any of these paint companies. I don't do enough painting videos to have, I guess, caught their attention, and that's fine. So I'll just give you my honest opinion. Green Stuff World is the only one that sent me free stuff, and so I've reviewed that. I actually really do like their products, though, although I haven't gotten their regular acrylic paints yet. All of the paints I've got from Green Stuff World are specialty paints like washes, metallic paints. The metallic paints are awesome. Lots of metallic paints. Different types of washes, like light intensity washes, heavy intensity washes, candy paints, which are like really glossy, shiny washes, which are good if you're painting like gemstones and stuff like that, or some weird stuff. Like I used a lot of the glossy stuff for buildings, for terrain. I was doing like window panels and like stained glass windows and stuff like that. I was doing stuff like that with a lot of those paints, and were really good for terrain. And then their color shift stuff. Since I got an airbrush recently, the color shift paints were great in the airbrush. All right, so I am going to wrap things up. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out this Friday night. Again, all the talk about Legion stuff is shipping now, which is great. Hopefully this means we'll start getting more news soon. I have a video coming up tomorrow for Anakin, and yes, has Luxury Playstyle sponsored you for rent video with a wing? I don't know what that means. They do sponsor my X-Wing videos. Yes, Luxury Playstyle is an official sponsor of the channel. They sponsor my X-Wing content. So that's why pretty much every X-Wing video, I mentioned them. And they've been a great sponsor. I legitimately, and this isn't a sponsored video, so I don't have to say this, but I do legitimately love those tokens. They're really, really good tokens. If you guys haven't already seen, check out luxuryplaystyle.com. And if you are going to buy anything, please use my code. You're going to save 15%. It's Crabbok VIP. Again, all that information is in the description below. Well, they're great looking tokens. I actually use them for Legion as well. because they have regular generic damage tokens. A lot of their stuff for Keyforge transitions well over to Legion. They have shields tokens for X-Wings that work great, especially if you're running shielded units in Legion, like Droidicas and stuff like that. Super cool. They're double-sided. They're full metal. They're absolutely gorgeous. All right. You got here just to see me say goodbye. I'm sorry, Casey. Now you can, like, if you want to scroll back, drag that little slider at the bottom. You can watch the whole thing again. Or you know, not long after this video finishes, it'll be up on demand. You can watch the whole thing. Is Luxury Playstyle going to do Armada tokens? I hope so, but I don't know. I have impressed upon them. A lot of my viewership is also of Legion and Armada. And should they have the ability to branch out into another game, that I will be all for it, because their level of quality is the top, right? They're absolute top tier, and it comes at a price. They're not cheap, you know. But yeah, it also is. There's a lot that goes into, because their tokens are so amazing. It's not stuff they can just come up with in a day. It takes a long time for them to come up with new token ideas and get them proofed, and you know, and then meeting quality control and meeting standards and stuff like that. So to start on a whole nother game when they haven't even finished the full set for X-Wing yet, because they have a lot of tokens for X-Wing, but they don't have every token for X-Wing, right? So they haven't finished X-Wing yet. It might be a little while before they jump into Armada or Legion or something like that. But I hope they do, and I'm an advocate for that. All right. Let's see. You would like a one straight marker for them for Armada? Oh, well, that would be interesting. I think Armada wouldn't be that hard. I would love defense tokens and command tokens. Like that would do it for me. That's all I need. And they could do like objectives and things like that also. But I like the idea of defense and command tokens, because those don't have to be on the board and their dimensions don't really matter. It's harder when a token has to be like on the board and you interact with it, and then the actual stuff is like the dimensions are, you have to be exact. Is there a truckload of stuff for obsolete X-Wing 1.0 stuff? They make conversion kits. So yeah, you could sell them to somebody looking to get into 2.0. In all of my what to buy first lists, I tell people, hey, like if you can buy a collection from somebody, you could even group it up into, here's all the Rebel stuff. Who wants to buy all my Rebel ships? Here's all the Imperial stuff. Who wants to buy all my Imperial ships? Whatever. Because a $50 conversion kit is going to turn like 2 of every ship, I think 4 of like TIE fighters and stuff like that, into 2.0 versions. All they really need is the ship itself and the base, all the plastic. Everything is plastic. They don't need the cardboard inserts. They don't need the the cards, the physical cards themselves. So yeah, so hold on to that stuff. People are looking to buy it all the time because the conversion kits are a good value if you give them a good deal. Now they're gonna have to spend $50-something on the conversion kit, so you need to give them a good deal on the 1.0 stuff. But that's kind of how it works. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and close it up. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. Again, lots of good stuff. More board games, trying to branch out. If you guys know a board game developer that's hurt by the canceling of conventions, have them reach out to me. I'll see if I can toss them some coverage and some hype. And of course, I'll be honest. If it's a game that is crappy, I'm probably not going to hype it up too much. Hopefully not. I'm not going to lie, but that doesn't mean I can't at least say, hey, look at this game. If you like it, there it is. Maybe it's, I want to help people out. I want to promote, because the board game industry is hurting now with all these cons being canceled. And review the Crew Quest for Planet 9. I'll keep that in mind. I don't think I've heard of that one before. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much, and as always, have a great day. Bye-bye.